Hello ladies and gentlemen, it is Quickie003 here bringing you some Beast M14 gameplay on WMD. So, a couple things before I get started here. First of all, I do not have a mod, okay? Everyone I play with always says I have a mod and stuff when I use the M14 and stuff, but I don't. I have a fast trigger finger, that's it. So, pretty much, I do pretty well this game, and just do pretty well, because, I love the M14, it's my favorite, and I love the fact that it's semi-auto, and I've got a good enough trigger finger to actually get kills with it. So, but this game, I don't really want to talk about, the gameplay, but more about well, I don't really want to talk about the gameplay at all, but, what I want to talk about is this new report that I found. It's this cool science report talking about really small stuff, in a sense. So, this report I read, it talks about strings, which make up quarks, which make up atoms, which make up elements, which make up substances, and yeah, pretty much I'll talk about all this in the next 10 minutes or so, but this is really interesting stuff. So, in the report I read, scientists have just made a new discovery about these things called strings. Now, these strings are little, really subatomic particles where that actually make up atoms, and hopefully most of you know what atoms are. What they're little, well, no, I shouldn't say that. Strings make up quarks, and quarks are subatomic particles that make up neutrons and protons in atoms, but quarks are also pretty much electrons as well. So these quarks, which are made up of strings, like I was saying, make up atoms, and atoms pretty much are little subatomic particles that pretty much make everything in the world, but pretty much I'm going on a small to large basis here. And atoms make up elements, like many of one atom makes up an element, while different atoms or different elements make up compounds. So pretty much you can, with simple different atoms, you can make you can make anything on Earth basically, and this all happens naturally, which makes us who we are today, and everything around us. But it's really interesting study. Just talking about the new discovery of strings, and what's so interesting about it is what I love most about it is how they actually figured out strings. I don't know how they figured that out, but they did somehow, and I just love to figure out how they actually found these strings, because in order to find a string, what they'd have to do is break up an atom, which is hard enough how it is, and I know how they do that, because what scientists do, they take two atoms, go into a high accelerator kind of gun, sort of, that shoots single atoms into each other and breaks them apart. Now, when they break apart, they release the protons and neutrons in the nucleus of the atom, kind of, and from there, I don't really know how it works from there, but somehow they broke up those protons and neutrons into the quarks. Now, the quarks, which make up protons and neutrons, they have to break that up even further to find out that there are strings inside that make up the quarks. So, I don't know how it works, but it is so incredible to me how they can go into such a subatomic level that it's tiny for our minds to even comprehend. It's amazing, and I'm really fascinated by it. I don't know about you guys, but this stuff really interests me. That's kind of why I want to go into the science field as a whole. But I just think it's so cool, and it's incredible. I can't fathom how much I like it and how interesting it is to me, but these strings, which they just found, are so tiny. They're incredibly small. I mean, I don't really know what I mean, but it's amazing. But, let's see. Well, now I tell you guys about the super small stuff. I'll tell you about some super big stuff now. I was talking to my other friend the other day, and what was well, we were talking about different dimensions. Let me start off. About, the third dimension, the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, and so on. And apparently there are 9 dimensions. I just learned this the other day, but there are 9 dimensions, and it's incredible. Stuff involving space and time, and stuff that isn't involving space and time, and it's incredible what we've discovered and kind of how we've done all this. But so when I start off with this, let me just first tell you that I should get started right here. This is hilarious. So that guy laid down a TI right there. I kill him, camp right on top of his TI, and he spawns inside of me, and I knife him. That's just, I think that's hilarious. But anyway, so us humans, we're 3-dimensional people or creatures. So we're 3-dimensional, but our eyes only see 2-dimensional. So one single eye, if you cover up another eye, you will only be able to see 2-dimensional. Now, because we have 2 eyes, we're able to see somewhat 3-dimensional figures, but we're not able to see, like, completely 3-dimensional. We see what we think is 3-dimensional, not what actually is. So, that's kind of, hard to think about right now, just even this part. But, now, the fourth dimension, I think the fourth dimension involves sound, I think. I think, I'm not sure, but involves sound. But because we're 3-dimensional and we see 2-dimensional, creatures always see one dimension smaller than what they actually are. So we're 3-dimensional, we see 2-dimensional. 4-dimensional sees 3-dimensional, and 5-dimensional sees 4-dimensional. So if that makes any sense, that's kind of how it works. But let me think. So 4-dimensional creatures, they'll be able to see 3-dimensional. Now, if you can understand how these creatures actually see, what they'd have to do in order to see completely 3-dimensional is they'll have to envelop something inside of them so that they can see all around the object and also inside of it, to use pinpoint accurate coordinates in a sense to actually see the creature 3-dimensionally. So it's so confusing, but if you actually get it, it makes so much sense, and it actually clicked for me when I was talking to my friend. But for a 4-dimensional creature to see 3-dimensional, they'll have to completely surround you in order to see you. But a 4-dimensional creature will be able to see every little part of you, even inside you, all over, all around, everything. They'll be able to see everything about you, and it's incredible to understand. But I always wonder if there are actually 4-dimensional creatures out there that are actually looking at us every single day, and we just don't know that they're there. We just have no idea. But what kind of the main thing about this is everything really isn't as it seems. There can be so much around that we are so clueless of. We're so, well, I should say, we're so 2-dimensional. We're looking at this way too 2-dimensionally, if that makes any sense. But it's incredible. I don't get it. It's so fascinating, so incredible that my mind just can't grasp it. It makes so much sense, but it makes no sense at the same time. It's incredible, but just think about it. If a 3-dimensional creature can see 2-dimensionally, and a 4-dimensional creature can see 3-dimensionally, then what would a 5-dimensional creature do? what would it look like? What would it like see? It would have to see four-dimensionally, so it would have to see all of the 3D creature plus sound if that is the fourth dimension. And it would have to see just so much stuff. And just a quick note, sorry it got kind of dark right here. When I was recording, I left my controller for a few minutes and the screen went dark. So sorry about that. It'll come back in a few seconds. But anyway, just four-dimensional creatures will see us three-dimensionally, and a five-dimensional creature will have to see something four-dimensionally. So right now we might actually be living in a like five-dimensional world or even six-dimensional world and not even know it. We could be living in such an environment that is so different than what we think. Because truthfully, we think that we are the only like us and other three-dimensional creatures are pretty much the only things on this earth right now. But truthfully, we might not be. I mean, there might be other ones around, but we just don't know it. So, kind of open your mind, always think about it, always be aware of it. You don't have to like constantly ponder it, but just keep that in mind, the fact that we might not be the only ones here. There might be other creatures of completely different, like, completely different shapes, stuff that we don't even know about. So, it's incredible. So, I still don't believe what I was thinking about the other day. I just don't believe it, because what if we actually found and figured out what a four-dimensional creature looks like? What would it actually look like? Would it just be like a cloud that envelops you or something, and then like figures out what you are, who you are, and everything? Because I just don't know. It's crazy in my mind. But let's see what else. I just don't know what to think about, and I was so amazed the other day when I was talking to this, but it was amazing. Because just think about it for the next few days or however long you want. Because we might not be living in a world with just us. There might be other things out there that we don't even know about. I mean, there can be like a whole nother world outside of ours. And then let alone, there could be a whole nother world with more than us. Or for all we know, there could be a whole nother world with a creature similar to us. I mean, we could find in space like more humans, more similar three-dimensional creatures that we have no idea about. There is just so much more stuff out there that we need to figure out. We are just scratching the surface, barely. And it's amazing. But anyway, in the last 30 seconds or so of this game, I'd just like to remind you guys to don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and like, and all that stuff, because it really helps out a lot. If I'm going to keep making some more videos and commentaries and everything, it would be great if I could get more subscribers and everything, because as of right now, about 15 people are seeing my videos on average, and truthfully I'd like more. But anyway, like I said, please don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. That would be awesome. Thank you so much, guys.